Don't just take a quick glance from the garden path. Walk right up to your hostas. Get close. Look at the leaves carefully. July is the month that tells you exactly what went right. It also tells you exactly what went wrong since they came out of the ground in spring.
You might see 4 specific symptoms right now: brown edges, holes, yellowing, or strange streaking between the veins. Each one of these symptoms means something completely specific. Each one requires a completely different response. Acting on one of them without knowing precisely which one you're dealing with is dangerous. It can spread a problem through every hosta in your garden before summer is over. We're going to cover each of these, but I want to plant a seed about the final section of this explainer before we begin. It covers a silent, devastating threat. It has the most dramatic consequences if missed. Most American gardeners have never heard of it until they see it spreading silently. I'll tell you what it is, how to identify it, and exactly what to do.
Before we look at the specific tasks, we must understand why July is the critical month. Hostas emerge from dormancy in spring in a sheltered environment. The air is cool, the light is gentle. By July, every one of those conditions has changed. The air temperature is higher. The light is intense. The angle of the sun has completely shifted. The soil is drier. And the slug population has had 3 full months to build. Your hostas are now in full leaf. They present the maximum possible surface area to all of these changed conditions simultaneously.
July does not create hosta problems. It reveals them. Understanding that distinction is what makes July the most important month for hosta care. The gardener who responds correctly to what July reveals will have healthy hostas through August, September, and October. The gardener who responds incorrectly will watch them deteriorate until the first frost.
Task 1. Correcting your watering method.
You must look at where the water is actually landing. Hostas watered from overhead are being set up for 2 simultaneous problems. The first is fungal disease. Wet hosta foliage in warm summer conditions is the ideal environment for fungal pathogens to develop. The second problem is foliar nematode spread. This is the more serious issue. Foliar nematodes are microscopic roundworms. They're splashed from plant to plant by rainwater and overhead irrigation. The fix is immediate. Lower your watering wand to soil level. Direct the water only at the base of each plant. Never water the foliage. You should also water in the morning, not the evening. This ensures any water that does accidentally contact the leaves dries completely before nightfall. You must remove moisture from the leaf surface. Doing this stops the transmission mechanism for both fungal diseases and nematodes simultaneously. For established hostas, provide a deep root soak twice a week. Don't use light, daily surface watering.
Task 2. The Midsummer Shade Reassessment. Leaf scourge is one of the most common issues you'll see in July. The shade that a tree or fence provides in May is not the same shade it provides in July. The sun is at a different angle now. It reaches parts of the garden in July afternoons that were completely shaded in May. Your hosta may now be receiving 2 or 3 hours of direct afternoon sun. The damage from this direct midsummer sun accumulates rapidly on those large leaf surfaces. Blue-leaved and dark green varieties are the most susceptible to summer sun scorch. The blue coloring actually comes from a waxy bloom on the leaf surface. This bloom breaks down in direct summer sun. It leaves the sensitive leaf tissue beneath exposed and highly vulnerable to scorch. Walk through your garden in the early afternoon this July. Observe exactly which hostas are receiving direct sun. For plants in the ground, use a temporary shade cloth pinned between stakes. This provides immediate relief while you plan a more permanent solution.
Task 3. The crown gap mulching roll.
Mulch in July serves 3 functions. It retains soil moisture, it moderates soil temperature, and it suppresses weed growth. But there's a mistake that is almost universal among American gardeners. They pile mulch directly against the crown and the stems of the plant. This holds moisture right against the tissue at the base of the hosta. This trapped moisture creates the ideal conditions for crown rot. Crown rot is an incurable fungal infection. It enters right through the crown tissue and spreads downward into the root system. It produces a collapsed, foul-smelling deterioration at the base of the plant. It kills hostas quickly and certainly. Treating crown rot with a fungicide does absolutely nothing. Once it's established, the plant must be completely removed and disposed of. You must not replant that area with hostas for at least 2 seasons.
You should apply 2 to 3 inches of mulch around each hosta, but you must maintain a strict 2 to 3 inch clear gap between the mulch and the base of the plant. This gap is not optional. It prevents the exact moisture accumulation that crown rot requires to establish. Always apply your mulch in a donut shape, never in a volcano shape.
Task 4. Active slug management.
July is when the slug population reaches its annual peak. Their feeding damage appears as large, irregular holes. Slugs require a damp environment to survive. They hide in soil crevices or under garden debris during the day. Therefore, a daytime inspection is completely useless. You simply won't find them. The most effective free management technique requires 3 consecutive nights of your time. Step 1. Wait 1 full hour after dark. Step 2. Go into the garden and inspect your hostas with a flashlight. Step 3. Handpick every slug you find and drop them into a container of soapy water. Slugs feed at night. Conducting this inspection consistently for 3 nights removes the active feeding population. It produces an immediate reduction in new hole formation.
You can also use biological and safe options for long-term control. Place a shallow water dish near the hosta bed to attract toads. 1 toad consumes up to 100 slugs per night. Create a small pile of flat stones to give those toads the daytime shelter they require. If you prefer using a product, use iron phosphate bait. It's safe for pets, birds, and soil organisms. Just scatter it around the perimeter of the hosta bed. Do not place it directly beneath the leaves.
Task 5. The late summer fertilizer cutoff.
Many gardeners add fertilizer to struggling hostas in July. This is the wrong approach. Hostas fed with high nitrogen fertilizer late in the season will push new, leafy growth. This late-season growth is soft, immature tissue. It simply cannot harden before the first frosts arrive. Soft tissue entering winter is highly vulnerable to frost damage and crown rot. The absolute cutoff for nitrogen-containing fertilizer is the end of July. Provide no nitrogen from August onward. If you want to give your hostas a final nutrient support, do it in early July. Use only a light application of a balanced, slow-release granular fertilizer. Scratch a small handful into the soil around each plant. After early July, apply nothing.
Diagnosing foliage symptoms.
This is the most serious section of this explainer. There are 4 distinct causes of damaged foliage in July. They might look superficially similar, but they require completely different responses. Misidentifying these symptoms can destroy an entire hosta collection. You must read every symptom correctly before you respond. First, let's separate slug damage from sun scorch. Slug damage produces irregular, random holes right in the leaf surface. They are ragged gaps caused by physical feeding. The rest of the leaf remains completely undamaged. Sun scorch is different. It produces a uniform marginal browning. The edges brown first, and then it progresses inward. The browning is always worse on the parts of the plant most exposed to the afternoon sun. The third cause is foliar nematodes. The symptoms include chocolate brown streaks or patches. The critical identifying feature is that the streaking is bounded exactly by the veins. The pattern is highly angular and geometric. It cannot cross the vein tissue because the nematodes physically cannot move through it. There are no chemical treatments for this. You must immediately remove and bin all infected leaves. Do not compost them. And you must stop all overhead watering immediately to prevent any further spread. The critical threat, Hosta virus X. We have now reached the final critical threat. This is Hosta virus X. It is a highly contagious and completely incurable plant virus. It poses a severe threat to your entire collection. The symptoms can sometimes mimic sun scorch or natural genetic variegation. This makes diagnosis challenging. It requires your complete attention. The key indicator for Hosta virus X is a specific mosaic pattern. You will see dark green, sunken areas against the normal leaf color. The dark areas appear pushed in rather than flat. You may also see leaf mottling, twisting, stunting, or puckering of the foliage and stems.
If you identify this virus, the protocol is strict and non-negotiable. Hosta virus X is spread by sap-to-sap contact. This includes contact with your tools, your hands, and your garden gloves. There is no treatment. The infected plant must be dug up entirely. It must be disposed of in a sealed trash bag. You must disinfect all tools, gloves, and surfaces with a 10% bleach solution before you touch another hosta. Never compost a suspected plant. Never divide a suspected plant. Doing so will spread this incurable virus throughout your entire garden.
Here are your 7 July essentials. Base watering only, in the morning. Reassess your shade for midsummer sun. Maintain a clear mulch gap at the crown. Conduct nighttime slug picking. Enforce the fertilizer cutoff at the end of July. Diagnose symptoms correctly before acting, and maintain strict vigilance for Hosta virus X. These are low-maintenance plants, but they ask for specific things in July. The wrong response is far more damaging than no response. I have a specific request for you to end this explainer. Please leave a comment below with 2 pieces of information. Tell me what state or zone you are in, and tell me the exact current appearance of your hostas. Do they have brown edges, holes, yellowing, or streaking? Be very specific in your description. I read every comment and I'll reply directly to help you. Thank you for following this explainer. Go out to the garden and apply these steps deliberately.